The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back. Another high episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bear. Got my man Ant Petty Murphy in the building. What's good, my boy?
What's happening with you, bro?
Not much, man. Sitting here watching NFL, and we're at the part of the season where the good teams decide they want to be terrible, and the terrible teams decide, hey, I can win some games too.
Yeah.
We also got right now we got Eagles and Dolphins playing. This is actually probably one of the more entertaining games of the day, just simply because both teams are actually moving the ball. Defense is actually stepping up, so we're seeing a lot of football and not just people running around in tights. So
yeah,
because it's like some of them games like today have been terrible. Some Chiefs woke up today. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But man, what a good weekend! What a good Saturday for college football, man. LSU, better call the Army, better yet the Navy. Didn't matter.
You could have called the Air Force too. They still would have lost.
Yes. Man, I don't know. They could have put anybody up there. Dylan kept asking me though. He was like, "So, everybody in the Army play football?" I said, "No." He was like, "So, everybody on their team in the Army?" I said, "Yes." I said, "They gonna be officers." He was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, they go to school." He said, "So, there's an Army college?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "What? Is there a Marine college?" I said, "Well, the Navy and Marines work together." He was like, "What?" He was so shocked. He was like, "What?" But who is that? Is that Dallas Goedert? Let's go, Dallas Goedert. First touchdown. That works. Right on time. But man, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Give a shout out to our people in the chat. What's good? Marv in the building. Our good man Josh. Dave came, you know what I'm saying? What's good, Dave? Appreciate you being here. Couldn't last time we could see what you were saying, but we couldn't see what you were saying. Brumfield, Jason Brumfield said the Army players was like, why these dudes singing our alma mater? They put 62 on us.
Right.
Yeah. We're gonna get to that too. They said your son asked some smart questions. Listen, you want to borrow him? Do ask him.
Man said borrow him.
Paul said they could have. What's good? Andrew said they could have had Shannon Sharp called a National Guard. It still wouldn't have been enough. Oh man, what's good, Tyler? But man, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors over at Bet Online. Oh, we got something else to drop for y'all too. We got some more heat. Y'all give me a minute. I'm gonna work on that and get that put up. But give a shout out to our sponsors over at Bet Online. BetOnline.ag. We'll be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right. Oh, my bad. I left Tyler the whole time. But man, hope everybody doing well. What's good, Zay? Said the Army got that. I don't know why I put it up there without reading it first. But what's good, Zay?
Yeah, Nick was talking some noise to you yesterday.
Nick was talking some noise. I'm looking for Nick because I was waiting on Nick. Nick is listen. I'll wait till he get on here till Nick say something because I got something to tell Nick. I was like, this Nick.
Hey, I just did my part. He told me to tell you. I told you.
I know he yeah, and I appreciate you for telling me. Jesus. Oh, hey man, but before we actually jump into the game, I do want to share something. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna have to. Nope, that ain't what I was trying to do. Y'all asked for it. We had to get it for you. So here you go. Boom. Y'all asked for it. Inspired by Mr. Perk. That big garbage. Get the shirts. Y'all know where to get it at. thegoldenboot.com. On sale now. Go check them out. Go ahead and get you one. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this game. Let's talk about this game. Where we at? All right. So we talked about this game on Wednesday. What can we learn from this game? What can we do? Blah, blah, blah. You know, what do you want to see? From what you saw, did you see what you needed to see in this game, or how you feel about
pretty much. I mean, they did what good teams supposed to do whenever they play a less talented team. I don't want to say inferior, but a less talented team. And so they went out there and they took care of business from the beginning, and they didn't take their foot off the gas until the end of the game. You could have maybe asked for a little more efficiency on offense early on. They missed a couple throws, and they just didn't seem to be clicking right at the beginning of the game.
Right.
But I mean, that's nitpicking considering what they were able to do once they got it going. So yeah, I mean, I saw what I wanted to see on offense and defensively. No matter who you playing, to pitch a shutout is impressive in college football. So you can't take anything away from what they did. I don't know how well it translates for the rest of the season because, like I said, you're playing a less talented team, and that style of offense is not one you really gonna see again. But the effort that we saw Saturday, and for them to go out and do what they did, you got to tip your hat to them because that's exactly what we needed at this time.
Yeah. On offense, man, I love as always what we saw. My favorite part, Trey Holler at the end. You know what I'm saying? That summed up the day.
Sir, my God.
10K Trey. Shout out to the 318. You know what I'm saying? Y'all fellas up there. He did his thing, man. And it was a breath of fresh air because a lot of people have been saying, man, where's Trey Holler? Where's Trey Holler? And I think they are trying to save him. Give him, you know, saying when I say save him, meaning red shirt.
Oh
Save
yeah,
him
he's
for
definitely red shirting, but
yeah. But I saw because a lot of people asked the question, would it translate what we saw him do in high school? And to me, to be honest with you, it looked like it translates very well. He finds the hole, explosive, and he gets upfield.
yeah, and that's the thing that guys me. I've seen a lot of people commenting about how fast he looked and how explosive he looked, but that was the question about him everybody had whenever he was coming out of Union
Mhm.
Parish was, is he fast enough? Is he explosive enough? People were saying he was gonna be like TDP, who just looked like he didn't have that extra gear needed. But I mean, from what we saw last night, I don't see any questions.
Yeah, I understand. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. So what's good, Brian? Brian pops up. He's you know what I'm saying, express.
Go to the first one. Go
Let's
to
go
the
first
first
one
one
first.
he had.
And he said, "Good evening. I'm not a fan of Brian Kelly. Recruiting, Brian Kelly's recruiting right now. How do you replace a 5-star with an unknown 3-star? Congratulations to the youngin, though." Then he comes back, says, "The LSU football program cannot and will not be successful under Brian Kelly without 5-star and upper echelon 4-star talent. A roster full of 3-stars who love the game gets you the last SEC title." I mean, I understand, I guess, the frustration, but I want to say this. I don't remember what Eichel was. Apu Eichel. Was he was a 4-star, I believe. But Apu Eichel replaced Softshire, if I'm not Softshire was never committed, but he replaced him. And then to be fair, the last guy they got in that class was Desmond Little, who I guess in a way you could say, because they was going after I guess you can say he replaced Softshire. And as crazy as it sounds, and not no 251 bias in this, Desmond Little has done a lot more in his college career than Softshire did.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, most defensive players who played have done more than Softshire has done in their career. But
And I know that's just one. Eric Gilbert.
yeah, I don't like the phrase replaced.
Right.
Because it's not like LSU was like, yeah, we don't want you, Andre Evans, go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like the kids have a decision to make in this also. And if that kid didn't want to be at LSU, what is BK supposed to do? Not take somebody else? So I mean, in that sense, they took the best player that they had evaluated on their board, or whoever they felt like was a high enough on their board, and they went after him and got him. I mean, that's what a good staff does. They see a need, they evaluate, and they go get them. And Sherman Wilson tweeted out something yesterday that said, basically, I don't remember word for word.
Basically, I know you're talking about. I take film value. Yeah,
we go watch the film and stop looking at the stars. Pretty much, you know what I mean. And so that's another. If you haven't watched film on these kids, don't really comment on them because you don't know what you're getting. That, for example, Jeremiah Hughes was a 3-star.
Oh boy, you read my mind.
I mean, if you watch his tape, if you watched him play, that's not a 3-star. If you go
he was a 3-star.
He was a 3-star, but he was a Max Prep All-American.
Thank you.
So I mean, the evaluations and what they do means more than the star rankings.
Yeah. So Brian, and I'm gonna give you because I actually learned this little insight about the star ratings and stuff. My son he's currently committed to South Alabama. He didn't do the rivals camp, didn't do 247 camp or anything like that. But so he didn't have a star rating or anything. Didn't have a rating, or I mean, he was just, it was just listed, had, saying his offers and stuff like that. As soon as he committed, all of a sudden, boom, his star rating goes up. They list him as a 3-star with 88 rating. He was the highest rated recruit on most of the teams that were after him. He's the highest rated recruit on their board. And I was, of course, I'm biased, believe in him and think he's uber talented and all that. But to see that was like, okay, that tells me a lot. At the end of the season, when they redo it, I expect them to see, possibly a 4-star. And if not, he's going to be up there. So I just can't go off for that.
The star rating is a flawed process, man.
It is, especially since COVID. A lot of writers weren't able to get out and evaluate talent, so it was a lot of people who were labeled 5 stars and stuff who aren't really 5 stars. No disrespect to any of them that were, but they were misevaluated. People didn't go actually watch them play, so it's hard to really speak on who should be where. So,
and my thing is like we looking at the stars. If it wasn't for the stars, you wouldn't have a problem. If I told you LSU had a decommit at cornerback and replaced him with another elite, high-level cornerback, you wouldn't have a problem with it. But whenever I throw stars out there, all of a sudden you lose a 5-star, you get a 3-star. Now it's a problem. But if you just say they lost a great cornerback and got another good cornerback, nobody's gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah. So I'll be careful with that thought process. Like I said, I understand your frustration and kind of looking at, but the recruiting process is not. Yeah, I wouldn't put too much on the star ratings and stuff. It's like now if they would put, looking at, if you looked at their stats and was like, this kid just don't have the stats, so I watch this film and I don't like this part of his game. I understand that a little bit more. But to get back to currently LSU team, Chance Babin, what's good, Chance? Brings this up. 7 straight games with 500 plus yards. In the one game you didn't get 500 plus, you got 450 plus, if I'm not mistaken, against Florida State.
Ain't that a record? 7 straight?
Yeah. 2019, I know we
went 6 straight twice.
Yeah, 6 straight twice. So there you go. The lowest point total that 2019 had was 23. We haven't been under 24. 23 against Auburn.
Yep. Okay. I was thinking it was 28, but okay, yeah,
23 against Auburn. 23-20, I think. What's that final score? Which that score when the game wasn't that close. But yeah, so I like what we see going into the bye week. I love what we're seeing out of this team. But we do have to talk about a few things with this team. The injury to Zay Alexander.
Yeah, that's gonna be big.
Don't know the status yet. They hadn't mentioned anything. But you might want to prepare for the worst. Because like I said, you're losing star cornerback. The way he went down, it's
compounded by the fact that you have Deuce Chestnut and Denver Harris both inactive at the moment. Don't know the status of their playing time or what they're gonna do as far as going forward, if they'll be available going forward. So you technically are down 3, possibly 3 cornerbacks, depending on Zay's health. So you're gonna be relying on what a lot of people was asking for earlier in the season, and you have to play some freshmen and some young guys. You're gonna have to play. I know he was in street clothes last night, but Ashton Stamp type, Terrence Welch, Jeremiah Hughes, Toviano, you're gonna have to see those guys. And we've been asking for them, so we can't have a problem with it whenever they out there now.
Right.
If they make a freshman mistake, you're just gonna have to live with it because we've been calling for the play the young guys, me and you included. So we just gonna have to live with it as fans. Now that we're gonna have to rely on some of these younger guys.
Yeah. What's up, Jamon? But yeah, we definitely gonna have to see what we can do with these younger guys. We got 2 weeks. I got confidence in what we can see coming out of, these 2 weeks. I said it in space last night, talking about calling for certain players to play. Well, when I guess you could say the media calls for certain players to play. Be careful with that, because there are things that go on behind the scene that not everybody is privy to. So it's tough to sit there and say, hey, such and such player need to be in. We need to be putting in this number. We need to be putting in that number. And then come to find out
they're inactive.
Or, you know what I'm saying, when in practice, they are getting dead up by third team. I put like I'm for example. So it's just you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. And that's another. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, man. I'm looking forward to offensively. I said it against Auburn. I'm willing to say it now. 2 weeks out, we can put up 40. Bama.
Yeah, I think so.
We can put up 40. My question is, can we hold them under 40, under 35? Your offense can get you 40. Now it's going you have to scheme to get you under. And I don't want to even necessarily start breaking down that yet. We can wait till next Sunday or even next Wednesday. Start talking about that, because yeah. So, and Brian said that's pushing it. Which part? The holding them under or putting up 40? Because if I'm not mistaken, there's only been one team held us on. Nope. No, Arkansas held you at 34. So yeah.
there
you go, Nick. So let me. So here's the thing, Nick. Nick say, how that ass whooping feels. Solder. Listen, Nick. There's many definitions for slow. You all of them. You do know that I'm a LSU fan, so it wasn't like I was going in there like, oh, Army's gonna be LSU. Boy, Nick B. I'll be praying for Nick. He said 40 points on Bama defense, regardless of the year, is rare, extremely rare. We put up 32 last year, and it wasn't, it possibly could have been more, like, if not for like a call here or there. But you also got to look at Bama's defense. And I get it. The way you beat Bama defense, I've been saying this for a long time. Same way you beat Georgia. You got to have a O-line that can hold up, and you'll let your wide receivers get vertical and throw it downfield. That then you opens up the run game. The first drive, Tennessee did it, and that's how they scored that first touchdown. Matter of fact, that's what they started doing the first half. At second half, Bama turned up the pressure, and they couldn't do nothing. So he said, Nick said, I count you as a Army fan. Just know this, Nick. y'all ain't hold up y'all end of the Commanders Cup. So,
I know that wasn't happening.
Yeah, so but yeah, that's I think,
Wait, Texas scored 34 on them. So I mean,
I don't think it's out of
the realm of possibility.
Who else? Texas scored 34. Somebody else? Maybe I'm thinking of.
The next highest they gave up was 21 to Arkansas,
and they just gave up 20 to Tennessee.
Yeah,
okay,
they gave up 20 twice. Texas A&M and Tennessee.
I'm not gonna do the
comparison. They gave up like 20 and a half to Tennessee.
Yeah, bro. Listen. I could be wrong. I'm not saying Bama defense trash. I'm not saying Bama's trash. But I see 40. Yeah. Plus, I think Bama is susceptible to giving us short field. Their O-line, Proctor is not good. I'm sorry. Proctor young. He's young. He's a weak link on that team, on that side. But like I said, man, listen, I don't want to jump into that yet. I ain't gonna wait. I'll wait on that. I'm cool with that. But let's talk about the Bama game. Bama took on Tennessee, number 17, Tennessee yesterday. 34-20, Bama win. Bama look, they look very that game was getting out of hand fast. That's where, huh?
They look like two different teams.
Yeah, that's where you when people talk about Bama and they talk about Nick Saban, that's where you see Nick Saban. Is in them halftime adjustments and stuff, that resiliency. That's where you see him. I like I said, I personally do not see them.
Well, I say this
as dangerous as they've been in the past.
Jason Brumfield said Tennessee choked away the game more than Bama won. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Tennessee lacked. They couldn't run the ball yesterday. And because of it, they couldn't bleed the clock. They couldn't keep Bama off the field in the second half
at all.
So I mean, they had 133 yards rushing. They averaged 3.5 yards a carry. So I mean that they've been running the ball better than that all season. So if that's LSU, you got to figure that between Diggs and that running back room and Jaden Daniels, that if you got a 20-7 lead, that you will be able to string together enough first downs to not allow them to get the ball enough to come back from a.
I would love to see the splits in the first half, second half, because although they, they had 133 yards, they had a lot of rushing yards in the first half. They were moving the ball at will on Alabama. The only problem is when they got to the red zone, it was 3 instead of 6. Joe Milton had 59 yards rush, which is, I want to go back to something we talked about. Last week. No, I actually read that wrong. Tennessee had 130, like you said, 33 yards rushing. Milton had 59 of those. Bama had 138, and McClellan will carry the bulk of that. They still wouldn't move that first half. They couldn't move the ball on the ground.
Yeah,
at all. Texas A&M. Now that's where I am concerned is if we can't slow down the run.
Yeah, because I mean, if we can't slow down the run, then Bama. I know we ain't supposed to be breaking down the game, but
I know.
Bama they're gonna play action off of that and get one-on-ones outside, and especially if you got a young guys in the secondary. That leads to miscommunications. That leads to coverage busts. That leads to guys being wide open. And that leads to easy touchdowns for Bama, which you can't have in a game like this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll break it down even more and stuff later on. And I understand what Brian's talking. He's talking, Alabama's front seven on defense. I get it, but I'm not. That's not I'm not gonna say I'm not concerned, but I just don't. I don't think they're. I don't think they'll be as. Never mind. We'll wait because I'm steady. I'm trying to get away from it. So, Chance say Tommy Reese got to coach against his dad at BK. Tommy Reese got to call plays. Period. It's gonna be interesting. Next up, man. South Carolina took on number 20 Missouri, and Missouri came out that thing with the dub, 34-12.
Yeah.
Missouri continues to impress me.
What could have been a letdown trap game, Missouri got out to a fast start, and just kind of boat raced them pretty much. Got out to a fast start and never looked back.
Yeah,
that offense from Missouri is very impressive, and I can't wait to see what they look like versus Georgia, bro.
And they got this bye week before Georgia. I think I think I told this privately, and we was talking. I did. It was a private. Don't be surprised if we see Missouri in the SEC championship game.
What if you saw a Missouri LSU rematch?
I love to see it. I think it'd be good for entertainment. Now the question is, how much would that help us in if we're trying to, trying to get playoffs? How much would that matchup help us versus an undefeated Georgia? So
undefeated Georgia would be a better resume builder.
Yeah, I think that's a great,
undefeated.
Bye week conversation.
Undefeated Georgia would probably be better for your resume.
Yeah, that's a great bye week conversation. I know what we can do. I got an idea. Holler at our guys over at POG. See if we can get them had that conversation. But yeah, Mizzou, Georgia gonna be must-see TV in 2 weeks. Well, I say that now. Georgia has to take on Florida this upcoming week.
Yeah.
Quiet as it's kept 5-2 Florida. With I want to buy out coming off a bye week when Georgia is missing their star weapon.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, man.
Very, very. Next up, man, a game that make us, well, I don't know. Number 13, Ole Miss took on Auburn. Ole Miss got the win, but it was close. It was 28-21.
Almost.
We need Ole Miss to lose. And I'm be honest with you, it's
looking less likely.
Yeah. Because that same Georgia who's gonna be without Bowers gotta go. I mean, they play Ole Miss, and that's what everybody was counting on. It was like, oh, Georgia will beat Ole Miss.
They still might just because of their
defense. Yeah. If Kirby played like he against Georgia like he did against Bama, yeah, it's definitely gone. Well, if he coached, I say play. If he coached like that. But yeah, man. Auburn at home is scary. Hugh Freeze this year should not. I ain't gonna say he shouldn't be this competitive, but
not in those games. Not against Georgia. Not against Ole Miss. Not against top 15 program.
Yeah, he's definitely been impressive. So Auburn next year is gonna be tough. Yeah. In the snooze fest, Mississippi State took on Arkansas, and Mississippi State got the win.
This game got Dan Enos fired.
Yes, it did.
That game right there looked like Iowa versus Minnesota.
By the way, yeah, you just mentioned it. Dan Enos was fired. I don't know how much of the blame is on Dan Enos.
Oh, a lot.
You think so?
For the offense this year? Yeah, that's all him. I'm not saying that was definitely a scapegoat hire though, because Sam Pittman is definitely ultimately to blame. But
that's why I was trying to get at. So was this a scapegoat firing? Yeah,
that's Sam Pittman trying to keep that. He trying to sit down. You know what I mean? Sit down
at least get the image. Now your wide receiver coach is the OC.
That seat too hot, so he ain't got no choice but to get rid of somebody to make it the way he can sit down.
Yeah,
but that I don't know if it was enough. He still might get fired at the end of the year because I don't see a win on their schedule. I mean, I thought this was the one.
Yeah, yeah. I hadn't even looked at the rest of their schedule to see who they got left, but I know it ain't pretty.
Nah, man. It's
I know it ain't pretty. Jeez. Hold on, let me.
Florida, Auburn, FIU, Missouri.
I can see one in a possum.
The Auburn game?
It's the possum. Because that's at home. That's saving grace, but I think Auburn still wins that game. FIU, it should be a gimme game. I don't think there's no way
Yeah,
that
even if they win both of them, you talking about 4-win team.
yeah, 4-8. Which will, because we've been giving them, a loss against Florida, which that will still be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row.
Yeah, and one SEC win if they beat Auburn. If you go over in the SEC, you definitely fired if you pick me.
Yeah. What's up, Adam? He said, yeah, I think they'll wait till the off season. Yeah, I think they wait till the off season to off Pittman. You can't. You got it. You're gonna have to do it in the. You're pretty much gonna have to do it at the end of the last game after last game,
Oh, yeah,
so you can.
They're gonna do it the Sunday morning after they lose to Missouri.
Yeah, so they can get somebody in place. But yeah.
I already told you who I think they're gonna call, but
yeah, you did. Yeah. Man, let's move over to the ACC. I thought this was gonna be an upset. It was looking like that. A strong one. Number 16 Duke took on number 4 Florida State. Florida State ended up winning 38-20, but this game was close. Duke was up
so slow.
Yeah, Duke was up big. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 17-7, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so this one was very interesting. Golly, that boy fast. Tyreek Hill is just too fast. But yeah, Duke fell apart at the end. Florida State made through, stretched it out on them. The next game kind of fell in that similar pattern. Clemson versus Miami. Clemson was up 17-7, ended up losing 28-20 in double overtime. Sound like Dabo started blaming players.
Did you see that quote? Has he officially lost it?
Quote Dave Chappelle, the milk's gone bad.
Yeah.
That dude. Yeah.
At this point, first of all, I didn't think that Miami would win. I thought they would keep it close. But ultimately, Clemson kind of gave this thing away, if you want to say that. I don't know if this is the real Clemson and that 3-year run that they had with, or 4-year run that they had with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, 5-year run, whatever it was. If that was just an outlier because you had elite quarterback play for 5 consecutive years, or is, you know what I mean? Like, what's the real Clemson? Is it this?
Or it's in Oklahoma?
Venables? Well, he lost Tony Elliott too, so I mean,
yeah, and granted, Tony Elliott is I think he's a pretty good coach. I think he's an excellent offensive coordinator. I don't think it's necessarily the offensive, because even when Tony Elliott was gone, because Venables didn't leave. Tony Elliott left first, and then Venables, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They left together.
They might did leave together. Well, with that being said, Oklahoma looks good. Vulnerable, but good. The defense is pretty good.
Yeah, defense impressive.
That's what you don't have with Clemson right now, is that defense that's going to shut things down, keep games close, and give your offense time to figure it out.
ain't got no offense neither. Clemson though.
Mhm.
And everybody was blaming DJU, saying
How Oregon State look?
better than Clemson.
Okay, I was just making sure.
But I mean, people wanted to say it was DJU. Obviously, that wasn't the case, considering that you changed the quarterback in your offense and you changed the offensive coordinator. You bring in the young guru Gary Riley, and it's still not doing anything. So I mean, at what point do you change all of the pieces and it still ain't working? Is it you? And then at what point in time we're gonna bring up the fact that not using the transfer portal, not believing in NIL, like at what point are we gonna start saying that? Are we gonna be real with ourselves and say that that's the reason, part of the reason why Clemson is struggling?
I agree. I think that there at some point in time, Dabo got to put down the watch towels and pick up a playbook.
Can he?
I understand do you believe in Lord Savior Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior? Yeah, okay, it's good. I appreciate it. Pray for him. Do all you can. But them people in Colorado told Dion, you got to be a coach. You can't be a preacher. Somebody in Clemson need to, you know what I'm saying, echo that message. You can lead by example. I'm just saying. He got to catch up with the game. If Nick Saban can catch up and use the portal and NIL to his advantage, bro, come on. Come on now. It was somebody else said that made a comment like that too. Like, if my players want to use NIL, I'm gonna tell them to go somewhere else. Your program gonna fall apart. It's just facts. I'm not saying you gotta have go out there and buy your roster, but you gotta be, if you want to stay competitive, you gotta stick with it.
I mean, just look at who are the best two teams in the ACC right now?
Florida State and that's a good question.
North Carolina, probably.
After this weekend, I don't know, but
I mean, who Duke?
I guess, I mean, at this point, you gotta say North Carolina.
All right, so both of them hit the portal hard this past.
They did.
As a matter of fact, the guy who scored the game-winning touchdown against Clemson, AJ Allen, transfer. You know what I mean? Like, everybody else is doing it, and you're only handcuffing yourself by not participating in it. So we can be naive all we want to and say that that's not part of the reason why. But if everybody else doing it and you're not doing it, and it's benefiting everybody else, then it's got to be hurting you not to do it.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know about clear, but
I can't. Oh, my bad. He said Duke is clear number 2 when Riley Leonard is healthy. I think I can agree, because they would have with a healthy Riley Leonard, they beat Notre Dame. If he didn't get hurt, they beat Notre Dame. I think they win last night with a healthy Riley Leonard. So
you think that was a 25-point difference in him? I mean, like that game last night wasn't close. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
It was until Wishcar. I mean, if your offense is doing stuff, I think it's. But I mean, you also talking about against the number 1 team in your conference too. So
I don't know. I think he definitely better, and they arguably number 2. But to say they a clear number 2, I don't know about that. Because North Carolina, I mean,
they're gonna beat North Carolina.
We'll see. They're gonna have to put up some points.
I'll wait till we get there. Well, we can talk about it now. How many points they need to put up? 31?
They put up some points. I don't know. They're just gonna have to put up some points.
That's what it was last night. Virginia came in and shocked UNC last night with a was a 31-27 win.
Yeah. 31.
I don't even know much to say about this. I did not see that one coming.
Nah, nobody did, but North Carolina, well, Mac Brown's teams normally always have one game where they just, lay an egg and don't play up to their standards, play down the competition. And this was the one. They, overlooked Virginia and showed up.
10 North Carolina too. They was number 10.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And I mean, I don't know what they was looking past. It ain't like they was looking past Virginia looking forward to Georgia Tech. You know what I mean? I just think that they just thought that they could go out there and they ain't really have to show up. They could just go through the motions and win. But Virginia had another thing for them.
Yeah.
But kudos to Virginia though, man. They had a rough year and
rough off season, yeah.
After the offseason that they had, and good to see Mike Hollins playing, and I think he scored a touchdown yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. Happy for we just mentioned aforementioned Tony Elliott, to be able to make things happen. Good to see that happen. Let's move to the Big Ten. They played true Big Ten football yesterday. What do I mean by that? A lot of defense, very little offense, except for I guess one team. But Penn State, number 7 Penn State took on Ohio State. Final score 20-12.
Was that good defense or bad offense?
I'm gonna say good defense. I think Ohio State defense is good. I do think Penn State's defense is pretty good.
I think Penn State's offense is bad. Well, at least yesterday they were bad. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying Ohio State defense ain't make some plays too, but Penn State, some of the play calling, and I don't know. I think Drew, however you say his last name, Aller, whatever.
Aller, I think it's Aller. Yeah.
I think he was rattled early because he just didn't seem to be like he was there yesterday.
I feel I'm Ohio State overrated.
Yeah,
very much.
I would agree.
Very much overrated. They honestly say it again.
And Penn State was too.
I'll give you that. Ohio State is. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a cakewalk. It's a rivalry game. But Michigan got to be licking their child excited, for 3 in a row for this one, because Ohio State looks bad. At what point are we gonna start looking at Ryan Day? Kind of how we look at trying to think who.
Like we look at Jim Harbaugh.
How we looked at Jim Harbaugh, yeah. That's fair.
Like we looking at James Franklin.
That's fair too. I think Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah.
Is a better James Franklin than James Franklin. Moving on, man. Minnesota versus Iowa. First off, the refs
That
was terrible. A terrible call. To say it was a fair catch when he didn't even. So you can't clap at your teammates anymore, because that's a delay of game, discerning signals. You can't wave your arms below your head, because in my day, to fair catch, you had to raise your arm above your head to call fair catch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen some questionable ones when if you raise it like here, like chest level stuff. I've seen those, but he clearly was waving them off. Peter got the ball and took because they continued to play on.
Hell of a return, I might add.
Yes,
Hell
they
of a
continued to
return.
play on. So how do you call that and say it because nobody blew the whistle dead?
Yeah, it was. I don't know, bro. That was highway robbery. I ain't seen a bad call like that in about 4 years. But that was a boring game though, bro.
I ain't watch it. I didn't watch. I would see the updates and stuff, and when I saw that, I was like, "Ain't no way."
Well, I didn't necessarily watch the game. It came on after the other game went off, like the end.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So I watched like the last 5 minutes of it, but it was boring. That was the highlight of the game, and then it was no longer a highlight because they waved it off. But I don't know how people can watch that type of football, man.
Yeah. Number 2, Michigan took on unranked Michigan State. Michigan got the win 49-0.
They hit the over by themselves.
Yeah. I think I said they can do that too. I think I said they was gonna do that. Michigan State, man, the play where the kid dove head first into the other kid and got ejected and stuff at the end. It's just come on, man. Michigan State's gotta get somebody in there who's gonna run a tight ship, get them under control because they're tainting that brand.
So obviously no Urban Meyer then.
No, which is terrible suggestion. Why would you get Urban Meyer when the reason why you fired Mel Tucker, Urban Meyer is actually caught on tape doing something similar?
Yeah.
Well, not similar because
yeah,
he's doing something.
I'm with
a
you.
lewd act, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah. Anyway,
boy,
go ahead.
Pause Hub comment, man.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad he said it. I saw it. I couldn't. Michigan State's video board was more offensive than the actual offense on the field. If you hadn't seen it, y'all go check it out. I don't know why, but there was a display of Hitler.
It was a trivia question. Where was Hitler born?
Why is that even a trivia question? Terrible.
Apparently Michigan State fighting PR problems.
Especially with what's going on. No, oh my God. All right, man. Moving on to the Pac-12. Number 14, Utah versus number 18, USC.
I asked you, could Utah get you 30 points?
What I said?
You said they could. I ain't say they couldn't.
I know you did. I know you did. I ain't saying you did.
That was my question was, could they get the 30 points? Because they was going to need 30-something points to win. And sure enough, they did. We need to have a conversation about Caleb Williams.
Tank for who?
I'm not even necessarily like the tank for type because they done been tanking for all kind of players. My thing is, if it's true, let me preface my statement with that. If it's true that you are supposedly asking for a stake in the franchise from whoever drafts you, and that's your demand, what on earth makes you think that you can play like this and make those type of demands?
If he wants, he must be aiming for the
I think
USFL, XFL.
I think he's trying to make whoever has the number one, because I think he think that Chicago gonna get the number one pick, either their pick or via Carolina, and I think he don't want to go to Chicago, so I think he trying to like
If you Chicago,
Take
do you
his
draft
spot.
a quarterback?
I mean, if you got 2 first-round picks in the top 3,
that's
why
true.
not?
That's true. Can you draft a offensive coordinator or new coaching staff? That's what they need to draft. I'm being.
I don't know. I know we might talk about it later, but their offense.
Yeah,
ain't
that's true. That's true. Yeah,
but so I think Caleb just trying to like tank his draft stock to make him not want like the first whoever not want to draft him number 1, so they draft Drake over him. But
yeah. We do need to have a serious conversation about Alex Grinch, Lincoln Riley.
Oh, he better fire him.
Listen, I ain't seen a couple this toxic since Bobby and Whitney broke up. Kanye and Kim, Taylor Swift and Kelsey. I don't know. Maybe they not toxic. I'm just tired of hearing about them.
No, man, it's kind of like Will and Jada though, because they need to separate, but they won't.
He need an entanglement with somebody who can tackle. That's what he needs.
But at this point, if you Lincoln Riley, you gotta
cut ties or something.
You gotta cut ties, or because you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Moving to the Big Ten next year too.
Krishan and Blueface. That is very toxic.
You moving to the Big Ten, so
that's like Chernobyl toxic. My bad. Go ahead.
Moving to the Big Ten, I mean, you ain't gonna be able to play that soft type of defense. You're gonna need some physicality on defense. So I mean, you might as well go and make that move now.
Yeah. I'm kind of nervous because I actually agree with this. But Nick says Grinch truthfully should have been fired at OU, had no business bringing him.
That's facts.
Yeah. So, and that's makes me Nick, who typed that for you? And Nick got Chat GPT to type that for him. Nick, Siri, say something smart about football. So, all right, Nick. I'm gonna leave you alone. This one here, I have to say, this was the if these games had themes, this was the hey Alexa, how do I blow my Heisman? Arizona State versus number 5 Washington. Washington got the win 15-7. Michael Penix Jr. had 3 turnovers in the first half.
And another game this year with no touchdown. His second one of the season, by the way.
Yeah. Terrible.
Hell, Washington's offense didn't even score a touchdown.
Terrible.
And not to mention, like I got Adam says, it took the blown PI call. They picked up the flag on Washington. It was a PI on Washington that would have gave Arizona State the ball in the red zone. It took that call for them to escape with a victory. So I mean, we can chill with that 2019 LSU. We can chill with all of that. Yeah, we can chill with all that stuff, bro.
All right. Yeah. It was bad. Big bad. They looked. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if they dropped. I hadn't even checked the standings, but if they didn't drop, they probably should, drop like yeah, Washington look bad. Oh, they stayed at 5, so they look bad. If we see a repeat of performance against Stanford, yeah.
I mean, they still got to play Utah, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me pull up their schedule. They got
they got USC and Utah.
Stanford, USC, Utah, Oregon State, Washington State. That's golly.
Ooh, so they got that's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
The only thing that helped them is that's like Away, home, away, home. Like they ain't got to go back to back road game.
Yeah. Yep. This game turned out to be closer than I thought it would be. Number 22 Air Force versus Navy. Air Force got the win 17-6, which goes to show when service academies play each other, always take the under. Always.
And if Vegas be knowing though.
Yeah.
The line was 10.5. Vegas be knowing.
Yeah. That game turned out to be good. The score was like 10-0 with 4 minutes left. And then Navy scored and then Air Force scored. So yeah, very interesting. Other notable games, because originally when we talked about games, none of the Big 12 games were on here because they just weren't that interesting, but they all became interesting yesterday. I say they all. Oklahoma survives UCF 31-29 in the Dylan Gabriel Bowl. I had completely forgot about that connection, but yeah, they survived that. Texas survived on the road against Houston 31-24. Houston had several chances and blew them with turnovers or penalties. Baylor survived Cincinnati 32-29.
Well, that was actually upset. Technically.
Oh yeah, I guess technically, yeah. Kansas State locked the door on TCU 41-3. So yeah. And then BYU beat Texas Tech 27-14. First of all, everybody was talking about Tech, including myself. Texas Tech beginning of the season. Thought they were going to, come out and do some things. They have been, I don't know what has happened with Texas Tech. They are awful. West Virginia was literally last week. They were undefeated in the Big 12, lost on the Hail Mary, and now they are back-to-back Big 12 losses. They lost to Oklahoma State 48-34.
Oklahoma State quietly still in the Big 12 race.
Yeah, it is. They are. It's gonna be interesting. Other games. When was this game? Tuesday, Jacksonville State with a huge comeback to beat West Kentucky. That was a great game. On Wednesday, Florida FIU went into double overtime with Sam Houston, got the win 33-27. On Thursday, James Madison got a big win over Marshall 20-9. They're definitely, although they can't compete, they're definitely looking like the best team in the Sun Belt right now.
For sure.
I'm trying to see what else. Any other? I think that's it for game, unless I'm missing one. Tulane, number 23, Tulane was up 21-0 on North Texas and let North Texas come back.
Made it a game for sure.
Yeah, ended up winning 35-28. UCLA, number 25, UCLA beat Stanford 42-7. BC, Boston College beat Georgia Tech 38-23. Trying to see. Nebraska beat Northwestern 17-9. And Wake Forest beat Pitt 21-17. I think that was it as far as actual. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh wow! And late night, Mount West action. Very exciting game. Nevada beat San Diego State 6-0. 2 field goals.
Barn burner.
2 field goals. So all right. 5:37. Let's see.
Ooh, Nick with a great question. UCLA over or under 30 scored on Colorado?
Over. What you think?
Yeah. I think so.
All right, next up, man, we got NFL for this week, man. Right now, currently, the Eagles are up 17-10 on Miami. This game has actually been fairly entertaining. They keep talking about all the comparisons, the Tua and Jalen Hurts, and showed the 2nd and 26, which is ironic because most of the team for well, not most of the team, but most of the team for the Eagles are Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
So
my question is, who are Alabama fans pulling for? Hurts or Tua?
I mean, Hurts is an Oklahoma guy, so
I mean, they both are backups who won for Alabama, so I'm just
that's true. What's up, Miss Body? Miss Body said, why Arkansas coach got fired. Scapegoat hire. I mean, scapegoat firing. The OC, the offense this year hadn't been necessarily been good. Hadn't been as good. But it's hard when you're replacing Kendall Browse. I'll say that. And what you call it is definitely a he's on a hot seat, Pittman. So
but
no, I'm sorry. I missed. She said Hurts is a Texas quarterback. No. I know he's from Texas, but he played at Oklahoma.
I think she's going for him because he's a Texas quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, he ain't an Alabama quarterback. He's a Oklahoma quarterback. They ain't even want him at Alabama. He was like, oh, he can't throw, yada yada. Then he started doing well at Oklahoma. Built by Bama. How? Really? Really? You weren't even claiming him. We don't need him. Though. We don't need him.
Sound familiar though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We don't need him. Go off, do what you want. But yeah. Games, other games. Let me pull up some of these other games, NFL games from today.
Boy,
the Bears.
Lions got. Oh, you start there.
Oh no, you can talk.
I was just finna say the Lions got their ass. What?
Oh my goodness, did they ever? Oh my goodness. I knew for sure the way Baltimore has been playing lately. I was like, man, and but as you say, Vegas be knowing. Vegas had Baltimore as a 3-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying, that's saying it's the wrong team. It's the wrong team. The Lions are the better team. Not today.
Even with all the injuries that Baltimore got, man, they still, man, Lamar Jackson. Can we stop talking about that? Can he play from the pocket mess? Because he's shredding people today, bro. Like that we need to stop with that mess. Whenever his receivers actually catch the ball, Lamar is a dog. Let's just stop that. He proved it again today, man.
Big facts. Giants and Commanders, man, come on, Washington. Come on. That was just
is Tyrod Taylor better than Daniel Jones?
Yes. Next question.
Why
he has more. He's more. Now the one problem I have with Tyrod Taylor, he still makes some rookie mistakes, or he still makes some inexperienced mistakes. For as long as he's been in the league, he still makes some mistakes. But I think it's not so much that he's making the mistakes because he doesn't know better. I think he makes those mistakes because he has an opportunity and he doesn't want to lose it. Because you got to think about it. Everywhere he's gone, whether he's been a starter or a backup and had to step up as a starter, he's done well. and end up getting hurt and loses his spot. Like the unfortunate incident with the Chargers, where he had they were if I'm not mistaken, they was undefeated, and then he got a punctured lung from a
team doctor.
Yeah, team doctor, like with a needle. What are you doing? Like, yeah. That's true. Dave Irwin said that wasn't the Commanders. They play like the Washington football team today. That's very true. Very true.
They at least tried to make it a game though.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: did you have Mac Jones out playing Josh Allen on your bingo card today?
I did not.
Yeah, well, it happened. The Patriots stole a win 29-25 over the Bills. They scored a late touchdown with a pass from Mac Jones to Mike Gesicki to win that one. The Browns.
I've been on that Josh Allen is mid train for a while now.
Yeah, you have. The Browns. PJ Walker ended up having to come in, finish this game off for him, but the Browns get the 39-38 win over the Colts.
Good game though, back and forth.
It was. Now let's talk about this because you brought it up. The Bears with a 30-12 win over the Raiders. They actually scored in every quarter. They had a undrafted rookie quarterback from D2 that came in and won this game.
Not only won the game, but put up was moving the ball.
Yeah, he has let me see what I know he had 162, but he was 21-29, 162, one touchdown, and he having rushing yards, 3 rushes for 24 yards.
You know what I'm saying? He was moving the ball. I mean, it wasn't like he was out the Mahomes and that thing, but he was moving the ball. He was efficient. And that's one thing you have never been able to say about the Bears offense so far this season was they were efficient.
Yeah.
But they were today. And the running back went crazy. I think he had 3 touchdowns. Foreman
had 2, 16 for 16 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Touchdown. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, he still had a big day on the ground. So yeah, their offense looked totally different today, man. But
I didn't realize
that was just the Raiders defense.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Garoppolo wasn't playing until like right before the game. So,
but Brian Hoyer should have been better than that.
Yeah, 17 to 32, 129, 2 picks, and then Aiden O'Connell came in. It was 10 to 13, 75 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So, yeah. Who was that? Raheem Mostert. But yeah, let's see who else. Over or under on Josh. I'm guessing McDaniels being the Pats OC next year.
Not next year, I don't think.
No.
Oh, no. I think he ended up taking over for Belichick, though.
As a head coach? That's interesting. Let's see who we got. What else?
Keep it balanced, boy. Shit.
The Falcons beat the Buccaneers.
Yeah, now they in first place.
Yeah.
Trash Saints.
Seahawks, man. Geno, boy, he's been impressive. With a 20-10 win over the Cardinals. The Broncos get their no, that's not their first. They got a win over the Packers, 19-17.
The Saints lost to them boys.
Yeah, they did. Chiefs got a 31-17 win over the Chargers. Offense definitely came alive, especially in the second quarter. Travis Kelce, 12 catches, 179 yards. Mahomes threw for 424 and 4 touchdowns and 1 pick.
Are the Chiefs off? Is the Chiefs offense back, or is that the Chargers defense?
I'm gonna lean more towards the Chargers defense. So, because if not mistaken, let me check. Chargers gave up points to everybody this year. Let's see. Lost to the Dolphins 36-34. Lost to the Titans 27-24. Beat the Vikings, but it was 28-24. Beat the Raiders, but it was 24-17. Lost to the Cowboys 2017. Then lost to the Chiefs 31-17. So I'm gonna say it's the Chargers. So yep. We'll see. We'll know more. So I do think that a healthy, getting a healthy Travis Kelce back definitely did help them. I'm like I said, the biggest thing I'm just tired of seeing is the
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't care that she had the game. All right. Talk a little bit of baseball real quick. Where we at with it? So last night the Phillies won 6-1 to take a 3-2 lead going back to Philly. Tonight, and it's funny because it's the opposite. It's the opposite. Phillies are a really good home team.
Mm-hmm.
Astros are a terrible home team. So now they're back at home, and the Rangers is the top of the eighth, went out. The Rangers are up 3-2. The Houston has a 3-2 lead in the series, but if they can't win at home, then it's going to be interesting to see that the Rangers having the advantage being the road team, if that makes sense. It's weird how yeah,
I'm with you, but the Astros for some reason have always been like that in the playoffs. They've always been better on the road. If you remember that series they had with the Nationals, the World Series, I think both teams didn't win a game at home. Every game was won by the road team. So for some reason they always been like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now, go like I said. So the game 6 tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Well, 4 o'clock Eastern. For the Phillies to possibly punch their ticket back to the World Series, and I got Texas winning the ALCS
or the series.
Just the ALCS series. I got Philly winning it all. But I got Texas, the Rangers.
I wouldn't mind seeing Texas make it.
Yeah. So that's what I got right now. But that's it. Where we at with it? All right. Before we get out of here, man, y'all got anything else for us? And you got anything else before we get up out of here? Why am I'm typing? This ain't even popping up in the. As we get ready to wrap this up, and you got anything before we get up out of here? Chat, y'all got anything?
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah. We'll be back on Wednesday. Trying to guess it up. We got oh,
that started the NBA season.
Nick said, can we stop Nick from making predictions? No, you do not want to stop Nick from making predictions, because you let him make predictions, then we know which way to go from there. So Nick says, oh, I know what we didn't talk about. Nick says, tune in Tuesday when we smash the Warriors. He talking about the Phoenix Suns. I know what we forgot to talk. Oh, we didn't talk about the cheating scandal. Michigan. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So for those of you, I don't know if everybody knows, but for those of you in the chat, Michigan has they're under investigation by the NCAA for potential sign stealing. Now, this sounds, especially since we just talked about MLB and the Astros, people, saying get that. But this is how you said the Astros. What?
The asterisks.
Asterisks. Here's the oh wow, pick 6 by Miami. It was tipped. Well, he tried to throw it over a lineman jump. So here's what went on with Michigan. They were actually sending analysts to scout to other games for other teams and watching their signs and stuff, and even not just teams on their schedule, but potential playoff opponents.
Yeah, I think it's more to it than just that.
Oh, I mean,
from what I heard, there was some illegal use of
video recorders and stuff.
No, what's the database like where they put the practice film and stuff on there? They was logging into people's practice films and stuff like that, from what I heard, and watching the practice film to get their signals and stuff like that. That's just what I heard. I mean, obviously they hadn't came out and said exactly what it is yet, but I heard that on one of the Fox Sports Radio programs today that was what it was.
They're also and to show how serious it is, one analyst,
that boy,
has been suspended with pay, so it's serious.
Scapegoat.
Yeah, definitely. That was that. It was something else happened this week too. I'm trying to think. Talked about the firing. Talked about recruiting on Wednesday. So yeah, I think that might be it. Might be it. Like I said, we'll be back on Wednesday. Chop it up with some more. Yeah. They say they were not only watching sideline signals, but watching them prepare to adjust to sideline signals. Yeah. Bro, you know how low down you got to be to. All right, man.
Does this taint Michigan's chances for the playoffs this year?
It won't even affect, because you know how long NCAA investigations take. This might be Michigan can go on and win the national championship, and it'll be 3 years from now, and then they'll go back and pull.
What if the Big Ten said Michigan is no longer eligible for the Big Ten championship?
I don't think that affects the college football playoffs.
If you're not your conference champion, are you going to be in the playoff?
I get, so here's and I get what you're saying. Hear me out. The college football playoff is not under sanction.
Oh yeah, I know that.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, just for audience, they're not under the purview, I'll say it like that, of the NCAA. Their mission is to get the 4 best teams. It didn't say the 4 conference champions, the best conference champions.
But if you're talking resumes, if you got, let's just say you have an undefeated Georgia SEC champion, an undefeated Florida State ACC champion, an undefeated Oklahoma Big 12 champion, an undefeated Washington Pac-12 champion. All them conference champions undefeated. Michigan undefeated, but they're not their conference champion.
But if they've beaten, let's say you've beaten
they've beaten Ohio State. That's it.
I
don't have a chance to be one of the other ones again because they don't get a chance to go to their championship.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
you see what I'm saying? Like, so how would it?
But still, would you still consider them the 4th best team?
I don't know.
And I understand. Listen,
how whenever their resume ain't as strong as some of the other people.
And I get what you're saying. I really do. But first of all, the Big Ten is not going to do that because they want their best chance to get somebody in the. But
I would argue that gives you. I would argue that if you did that, the Big Ten, it would give you a chance to have 2 in there. Because like you just said, Michigan could still go. But then you would have Ohio State with a one-loss conference champion, Ohio State. So you got one-loss conference champion and Michigan, who hadn't lost the game, who could still get in themselves. You could argue that would actually help that chance, because if Michigan, Ohio State got to play again, or Michigan and whoever got to play again, then Ohio State's not a conference champion. But if Ohio State is able to be a conference champion and Michigan be undefeated,
I get what you're saying. But I still think it still wouldn't matter for would they be able to get.
It all depends, because it all depends on how people view this team. Like, do they still view the team the same way after this cheating scandal?
I still think Michigan is. I still think right now. I think Michigan is top two best teams.
With who?
Florida State. I think they're top two best team. The problem, though, Michigan still hadn't played anybody. That's the big problem. But I think they still would get in. Like I said, I still think it would not. No matter what we think about it or whatever, it wouldn't be until like 3 years later, once the NCAA finally concludes their investigation.
That's if we wait on the NCAA to do something. The committee could be like, I don't know how good of a team y'all are because y'all had all this over y'all head for half the season.
I don't think it matters. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah.
Especially if they play Ohio State or Penn State and they don't look dominant. Like, if they don't look like, because they should beat both of them teams very, very comfortably. If they in a dogfight with Penn State and they got to win on a walk-off field goal, you're gonna start wondering if, okay, well, did they look so good because they knew what everybody else was doing?
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Something else we got to talk about. We'll probably talk about it more tomorrow. NIL legislation legislation in regards to NIL failing, and how some wanted to use NIL legislation to remove HBCUs from D1.
Yeah,
from the D1 classification.
He decided to nix a bill that would allow conferences to help schools even the playing field a little bit.
Yeah, it's trash. It's trash. Very trash.
In the grand scheme of things, it is. But if you're the SEC, it makes sense why you do it.
Yeah. I don't think it was necessarily targeted towards HBCUs.
I don't think it was neither.
But the after effects.
Yeah, bingo. It just trickled down.
Yeah. Still trash. But I understand. Again, like you said, for a competitive advantage, you don't want your competitor. I mean, your rival. I ain't gonna say peer conferences and stuff to improve. So if that means hurting a little guy, so be it. But man, that's I guess we had a little bit more extra to talk about. Bro, I don't think we had that much after conversation.
Yeah, for real.
Forgot about that. Dave says under that circumstance they probably wouldn't get in, but look at the teams from last year. They would get in over somebody like TCU if they look better. But you had Michigan and Ohio State in last year. So I think this year is a little different, but it's starting to shape out to where Washington almost lost, but this gauntlet that Washington got coming up, I can see Washington having 2 losses. Ended up with 2 losses because I think I can see something like Utah beating them twice, or you having a USC has 2 losses already. So I think the Pac-12 can eliminate itself. I can see like you don't think the Pac-12 can eliminate itself? Oregon already got a loss. If they Oregon State got a loss, and then if Oregon lose to Oregon State loses to Washington.
I mean, you 2 loss, depending on how everybody else. I'm not gonna say a 2-loss conference champion from the Pac-12 is out. Just because how strong the league is this year. It's like the SEC any other year.
That's fair. But then I'm looking at also, that was almost another pick. I'm also looking at the Big 12. Texas already got a loss. Oklahoma State has, I think they got 2 losses too.
They got 2 losses, but only 1 conference loss.
Yeah, 2 losses. Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma, but they lose to somebody else. Oklahoma State, and then Oklahoma plays. Texas still would need another loss. Well, even if Texas wins and has the 1 loss, I'm playing this in a scenario to well see what if, like, saying other teams and stuff have these extra losses if LSU can find a way to get back in it. So,
you don't a lot of chaos.
You do. Biggest thing also, you gotta at the end of the day, your biggest threat right now is Ole Miss. You need somebody to beat Ole Miss.
How does the 3-way tie work if all 3 teams have a 1 loss in conference?
I was actually thinking about trying to figure that out, and I think it might go to the higher seed, which would probably be Ole Miss. Because
they would have beaten Georgia if they had 1 loss. And you would have beaten Alabama. You would have beaten Alabama, Florida, and Texas A&M, but I don't know if that's going to leapfrog Ole Miss.
The reason why I say the high seed, when I say high seed, I mean the ranking, because you could possibly, when you beat Alabama will drop, but Ole Miss will continue to rise if they keep winning, and you'll continue to rise, but you'll always be
you'll always be behind them, exactly.
So that's something else we talked about, a possible SEC championship being Mizzou and Ole Miss, which I think would be fun to watch. I wouldn't like it, but it'd be fun to watch. So,
yeah.
So, yep. I guess that's another bye week question. I'm gonna save it. I'll tell you after the show. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get up out of here. Finish this game. This game is Philly just took the lead on a touchdown to AJ Brown. They're up 24-17. I think this is what I don't even know what quarter.
It's third quarter.
Third quarter is close to the end. Okay. Texans scored another one. And let me go back. Texans scored another one. It is 4-2. Bottom of the 8th. 1 out. Astros have 2 on. If this holds up, it'd be the 2 best words in sports.
Game 7.
Yeah. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get up out of here. I keep saying that, but I ain't going nowhere. But all right, we'll holler at y'all. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of HBCUI. We'll be back on Wednesday with another Golden Boot. Hopefully we'll have a guest with us so we can talk recruiting, talk this bye week, and talk some women's basketball. Your number 1 ranked LSU Tigers. But we'll see. Like that, we out. This show was presented by betonline.ag. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!